Well, we're just a few days away now from a vote that could rock United Methodist churches all across the country. That's because next week UMC delegates will gather for a special conference to vote on the church's stance on homosexuality. Eyewitness News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry joins us live now to explain how this may have a ripple effect on churches here in San Antonio and everywhere else. Jaleesa?
Yeah, that's right. We're at the Rio, Texas Conference Center, a facility that serves the nearly 400 UMC churches in South Texas. And it's delegates from here that will help decide the church's stance on gay marriage from here on out.
Nestled in the heart of the city is a church with its hands covered in history. And today, Travis Park UMC finds itself in another historic moment.
We're in prayer about potential changes that might be made to our rule book, the Book of Discipline.
Next weekend, the United Methodist Church will host a special general conference to vote on how all UMC churches across the country will handle gay marriage and if they'll allow gay pastors. Right now, same-sex marriages cannot be conducted in their church, but hundreds of delegates will decide on if that will change. They have 3 plans to choose from. The One Church plan that allows each church to decide on how they will handle LGBT matters, the traditional plan that would reinforce the current teachings, and the connectional conference plan, which would create 3 different branches of the church based on their perspectives on LGBT issues.
We advocate for the changes that we think would be about full and equal inclusion.
While Travis Park advocates for the inclusion of gay marriage in the Methodist Church, other churches are leaving it up to God.
So we're asking our church to pray every day for our denomination and for our leaders who will be making these decisions.
Adam Knight, the senior pastor at Coker United Methodist Church, says the decision brings some anxiety, but stresses no matter the outcome, all are always welcome.
There's a truth and a unity in being a follower of Jesus that I believe we will maintain no matter what.
Now that vote will take place in St. Louis next weekend. 10 delegates from South Texas will be in attendance. We're live on the city's northwest side. Jaleesa Irizarry, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.